Right, what I've done is I've positioned things so hopefully you can see everything. There's the water, there's the paint. Now, what I've done here is I've squirted some sap green. It's in fact Winsor & Newton permanent sap green, and I'm going to do a tree as a demonstration. So I've just squirted that out there. So I'm going to go in and wet my brush. This is a number, actually this is nothing special, it's a number 10. And I'm going to just mix that into a very pale wash. Where shall I go? About here, I should be able to see that. Okay, so if you've done my tree course, you know how I go about trees. This is just a deciduous. It's a tree that loses its leaves in the autumn. And I start off with just putting big clumps of green, and I'm going to suck some of that out. Okay. Big clumps of green. Now you can see that as I come down here, all the paint mix is gradually being sucked up by the paper. It's coming out of the brush, okay? So there's not much left in. Okay, I'm going to just move that around a bit. And is drying already. Somebody was asking about how quickly my paint seemed to dry. Maybe it's because I'm breathing on it. So there's a bit of a tree shape. It doesn't matter, this is just an exercise. Now I'm just going to go rinse my brush, and just for the sake of argument I'm going to, I don't know if you can see that, some raw umber. That is drying off quite quickly. I can see that area there where I started, because my brush, I started up there, my brush was fully laden with weak wash, okay? And as I worked down, I used up the paint that was in the brush. Right, let's just give this a trunk just so you can have an idea, just so it makes sense. Now, can you see there, look? That is obviously still quite damp, and that has moved into it. Okay, now no need to do any more, it's just to give you an idea. Okay, so I'm just going to dab over the brown bits and that bit up there. Okay, now rinse my brush off, and I'm taking the excess off, and I'm going back to that same puddle. See how the brush, the dry brush, just sucks it up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add colour on top of this. So this is the same density, but what I'm going to do is make the shapes look a bit more interesting. Give them volume. We're assuming the light, let's have it coming that way, is coming that way, okay? So all the shadow will be on this side. Going back for some more. Haven't added any more water or any more paint. Excuse me. I don't know if I can edit that out, you might have to put up with it. Suck a bit out of there and spread it down here a bit. Suck a bit out, spread it down there. Use up what's left in that little puddle, okay? And there'll be lots of shadow under here because there isn't any light getting to it. Now, again, I loaded my brush and I started there, and that's where most of the paint has gone. Suck some out, put a bit over there. Suck some out, put a bit over there. There's still quite, look, still quite a bit in there, but now I would say I've worked it all out of that. Okay, so while that brush is dry, I'm just going to move that about, just to get rid of those hard edges. See, this is still wet, it's still movable, can still manipulate it. But look, if I spread out, I get a nice pale bit there. Because remember, you know, you've got this is the 3D object, it's three-dimensional, so you're going to get different shapes. Okay, now what I'm going to do now is I'm going back to the sap green that's more intense, and I'm going to go under here. And work on these shapes. Why have I started at the bottom? Because that's probably wetter. Let's go up here. No, actually, I don't know why I started at the bottom, scratch that. Right, let's move that out a bit. Excuse me sniffing. So I'm putting effectively what is shadow under these clumps. Right, I'm going back for some more. I haven't added any more water, I'm just using what was in there. It really is a question observing. A lot of the time we really don't look. We think we know what we've seen, but we don't look. Now, I want to also add, I am not going to add any other colour to this. I'm using just the sap green because I wanted to prove the point of the colour values, okay? Okay, now I'm going to rinse my brush off and dry it off. Very little paint left on there. And I just want to soften those little hard edges out. So we're starting to get a shape now, okay? Right, I'm going back for more. Now, that is getting quite intense. So I'm going to just put a little bit of water in, just so it's easier to use. Now you can see how that is moving, how wet that is. And that's fine, because I don't want the harsh lines. I want this to look natural as much as it can do. So you're just creating these little clusters. And by doing this, you're making the object look more round. A bit more water there. And you're also giving the idea of shadow. Bit more water. See, I'm layering on top. And if you want to be clever and just mess around with things a bit more, take a bit of absorbent paper and you can make some marks with that and lift bits out. Right, I'm going to go back now and I'm using it from the tube Almost Neat. I'm going in now to put some really dark bits in. And see how wet that still is. This is really, look, it's really straight from the tube pigment. Actually, you get some lovely shapes. Look, instant leaves. Look, almost straight from the tube. There you get that nice definition. Now you can go on and on for as long as you like, but I hope that that gives you an idea more so about colour values, intensity of colour, and about layering. And if I just wet my brush off and just let's ground it a little bit. Got a bit of mauve here, let's just bung a bit of shadow in. There we go. So I hope that helps you. Once again, thank you very much, and please share your examples of this exercise with everybody and enjoy your painting.